You hit send on a message, and poof, it's gone. Seconds later, it just appears on a screen halfway across the world. But what in the world happens in between? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most incredible and, honestly, misunderstood systems ever built, the internet. We are going to follow the journey of a single message right from your thumb all the way to your friend's screen. I mean, really think about that for a second. You can send a huge photo to a friend on another continent, and it gets there in the blink of an eye. Now, this isn't magic. It's just an absolutely astonishing feat of global engineering. And by the end of this, you'll have a whole new appreciation for this invisible world that connects every single one of us. All right, let's dive in. To make this feel real, we're going to follow just one simple message. Hey, as it travels from your phone all the way to your friend's phone in another country. So, before our little message can even dream of traveling the globe, it needs to get properly prepped for the journey. And all of this happens inside your phone, way faster than you can blink. Okay, first things first, security. The very second you hit send, your message, hey, gets wrapped in something called end-to-end encryption. You can think of it like putting the message in a locked box that only your friend has the key to. It's so secure that not even WhatsApp can see what's inside. Now here's something you might not know. The internet doesn't send your message in one big chunk. Instead, it breaks it down into these tiny little pieces of data called packets. Why? Well, it's just way more efficient and reliable. If one tiny piece gets lost, only that one piece needs to be sent again. And each of these packets gets its own digital envelope with both your address and your friend's address on it.
All right, so our message is encrypted. It's been chopped up into little packets. Now what? How does it actually get out of your house and connect to the wider world?
And here is the first physical leap. Your phone's Wi-Fi chip turns those digital packets into radio waves and literally beams them across the room to your home's router. It's this tiny, invisible journey that's the very first step on a massive global voyage. And this brings us to the router's main gig. See, inside your house, your phone has a private IP address, kind of like an apartment number. The router, it acts like the building's doorman. It takes the packets from your apartment and slaps the building's public street address on them so they can actually navigate the huge, wider internet. Okay, our message now has a public address. It's on the grid and ready to hit the open road. But we're not talking about just any road. This is the global information superhighway. Your router sends the message to your internet service provider, or ISP, companies like Geo or Airtel. Your ISP is basically the on-ramp to that superhighway, and its job is to figure out the absolute fastest route for your packets to get to where they're going, the WhatsApp servers. But hang on, there's a problem. Your packet is addressed to whatsapp.com, but the internet's machinery, all the routers and switches, they only understand numbers, these numerical IP addresses. So, how does it find the right server? Well, this is where something called the DNS, the Domain Name System, comes to the rescue. The DNS is, and this is no joke, it's literally the phone book of the internet. The ISP just asks the DNS, hey, what's the number for whatsapp.com? And the DNS looks it up and gives back the correct numerical IP address. Seriously, it's exactly like the contacts list on your phone. You don't memorize everyone's phone number, right? You just save their name. DNS does the exact same thing for the entire internet, translating names we can remember into numbers that computers can understand. All right, now we need to bust the biggest myth of all about the internet. We all talk about the cloud, but that's really just a metaphor. The internet isn't some magical, floaty thing in the sky. It is incredibly, massively physical. And here is the big secret. The internet superhighway is actually a vast, global network of fiber-optic cables that are laid all across the ocean floor. That's right. These cables connect entire continents, and your little "hey" message is now a pulse of light traveling at, well, nearly the speed of light through one of these cables at the bottom of the sea. And the scale of this is it's mind-boggling. There are hundreds of these cables crisscrossing the globe. Just one of them, connecting Europe to Asia, is 25,000 kilometers long. This is the real physical backbone of our digital world. So, after flashing across oceans and continents, our message is getting close to the end of its journey. Let's see how it gets from that superhighway all the way to your friend's phone. Those pulses of light get converted back into data and arrive at a data center, which is basically a huge building packed with powerful computers. This is WhatsApp's server, and it acts as a kind of central post office for all their messages. Now, the server's job here is super important. It checks to see if your friend is online. If they are, boom, it forwards the packets to them instantly. But if they're offline, the server just hangs on to the message safely and delivers it the very moment they reconnect.
And then, touchdown. All those little packets, which, by the way, might have taken completely different routes to get there, are all reassembled in the correct order. That locked box is opened with your friend's unique key, the message gets unscrambled, and hey, finally appears on their screen. Journey complete. So we've just followed one tiny message on an absolutely epic journey. Now let's just zoom out for a second and appreciate the incredible system that made all of that possible. Here's the key takeaway. The internet isn't one single thing. It's a network of networks. You have your home network, your ISP's network, that massive backbone of ocean cables, and all the server networks. And they're all working together, passing your message along like a baton in a global relay race. So when you hear that official textbook definition, you don't just have to read the words anymore. You can actually feel what they mean. You can picture all those connections, the addresses, the rules, and that incredible physical infrastructure that makes it all work. And that leaves us with one last kind of wild thought. This global network is so powerful, but it's also built on physical cables that can and do break. So what happens when a ship's anchor, or believe it or not, even a shark, severs one of those critical lines on the ocean floor? The answer? Well, it might surprise you. But that's a story for another time.